Hello, this is Dr. Says.
Martin Nitpicker.
Today we are reviewing Star Wars The Last Jedi. Star Wars The Last Jedi is the second installment of the trilogy of Star Wars films.
Sequel trilogy.
Yeah, it is the sequel trilogy because there was a previous trilogy, even though this is like part 8.
Yes, it's part 8.
So how can it be like the second trilogy if there's 2 films before that?
Part 4 came out first. Back then it wasn't called Part 4, it was just called Star Wars. Then Part 5, Empire, came out after, and then Part 6 for Jedi.
Oh yeah, so the 2 films just start off, and then they finally decide, we want to get a backstory, so we'll call these 3 films 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, they called the originals 4, 5, and 6. Then the prequels were 1, 2, and 3.
So, is this not the third trilogy then? Like, why is it called the second trilogy?
Because actually, they're calling it the sequel trilogy because it's actually taking place after the original trilogy. Not before.
Alright, so if that doesn't confuse you, we'll move on.
It's been confusing people since, when did Phantom Menace came out? 1997, 98, around that time. It's been confusing people since then, basically.
Yeah. The film that was released last year, that is not a part of the trilogy.
No, that's just a spin-off that takes place between episodes 3 and 4.
Yeah, not to confuse anybody, but we'll get back to the film here. I think it starts off with Rey goes to the island that Luke is on, and she pretty much pesters him to come back to the Force. So he's like, "Can you come back to the Force?" No.
No.
Please? No. Pretty
No.
please? No.
I'm too busy drinking alien camel fat titty milk.
Oh god, that was a shocking scene for the whole audience.
Everybody wanted to know where that famous blue milk came from. There's your answer.
Well, it sort of looked greeny, bluey colour, like unless they changed it. And then he swings on vines like Tarzan.
And did we need to have a big close-up of him drinking it?
He's like, yummy. So he eventually agrees to teach Ren the ways of the Force. But the movie sort of twists and turns. Like, he tries to teach her, but then she embraces the dark side. And he goes, "You didn't even try to fight it!" And then he runs away.
Yeah.
So, and then Ren falls into the dark side, and it turns out it didn't change anything. It's just a bunch of reflections.
Yes, a really good special effect, I must admit.
Yeah, it was interesting, but it had literally no relevance at all. So then, for some reason, it links. Somehow their minds are linked together, Ren and Kylo Ren, and it's not explained how this is possible. And it sort of hints there could be a potential romance between Ren and Kylo Ren. At least that's what I got from it.
Either a romance or a family relationship. No one knows.
Yeah. So just as she was touched his hand, Luke comes in and he goes, "No!
No!
Stop this tender moment!" And then he, I don't know, he breaks it somehow.
Yeah, he breaks it.
He breaks the moment.
It broke the moment.
So it turns out your man, Luke, he's not as noble as what he was portrayed in the other films.
No, he's just a grungy old man, basically.
He's kind of a dick in this film. Like, he tried to kill Kylo Ren because he sensed potential evil.
He tried and then thought about it, and then he noticed he's awake and it's like, oh shit.
Yeah. So that explains how Kylo Ren turned evil. But there's more to the film than this. The island that Luke was on is actually very close to where we live. It's the exact opposite of where we live on the whole of Ireland, and it's on an island called Scaleg Michael. And the island in Star Wars is called Act 2. But it's interesting because we were just talking about how they're using a lot of sets from Ireland now.
Yeah. If you're a Game of Thrones fan, you've known a lot of location shot here in Ireland. So
yeah, a lot of them are actually quite close to where we live, so it's quite interesting to get like these shots which nobody give a damn about, all of a sudden you see tourists bunged in them around the summertime, which is interesting. The actual film, it's about the Resistance versus the First Order. There's a few things going on at the same time. While Ren is trying to convince Luke, we have the rebels in their spaceship fighting. They're fighting the First Order. Somehow the First Order are able to track the rebels.
Yeah, they have like a hyperdrive tracking device on their ship basically, and that's how they keep catching up to them.
Yeah, so they're having this fight, and I missed a bit of it. I was a bit late, but does it explain how the fight started?
It's been a while since I saw the film, so forgive my memory's a bit foggy.
I walked in to the cinema 5 or 10 minutes after it started.
It just starts off with the main pilot, Poe. You know, he just drives up to the ship, and he's supposed to be sending trying to send a message, but he's kind of like doing a prank call thing with the First Order basically, so the other rebels can like sneak in and try to drop these bombs onto the ship, which it does work at a time, but that caused a lot of people lose their lives apparently. And one of the main characters, Rose, the Chinese girl, who her sister, it turns out she was one of the pilots that dropped the bombs, and apparently that makes a big impact on her basically.
Speaking of Rose, there's a lot of romance or potential romance in this film. Like you have Finn and Rose, you have Ren and Kylo Ren, you have Poe and the purple-haired woman who's old enough to be his mom. Although I guess some people will call her MILF. I say she looks good for her age, but I think she's that old for Poe. Yeah, she was Vice Admiral Holdo. So what happens is Kylo Ren is he's about to shoot his mom, Princess Leia, but then he stops, and then these two other ships shoot her. So then she flies into outer space, and then somehow she's able to use the Force to get back to the ship and survive the vacuum of space. Can you explain how she did that?
I haven't a clue. I don't think anybody knows.
So there's a few plot holes in this film. Speaking of which, the main villain is called Snoke. And I looked up on Wikipedia. I think he was one of the remnants from one of the wars in the past Star Wars films. I'm not too sure, but he is the all-powerful leader of the First Order, who's commanding Kylo Ren. He's like probably the most powerful character in the whole film, Snoke, because he's able to use how well he's able to use the Force. Pretty much everyone's frightened of him. So
and he's fucking useless.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, he thinks he's the bee's knees, but he's not. For some reason, when Princess Leia goes back to the ship, she's used all her energy, so now she's unconscious. So then the purple-haired lady, Vice Admiral Holdo, she's in command, but Poe does not agree with her methods because it sounds like she's running away. He sends Finn and Rose on a mission to find this code breaker who will able to get past the sensors from the First Order.
Able to get onto the ship, take down the tractor beam device that's causing them to catch up with the rebels, basically.
And they find the code breaker when they break into the casino. Well, they blend in. But then they get caught because they parked their ship on a beach. And some guys are, they shouldn't be parking their ship on the beach, I told them not to. Yeah. So if they had to park their ship somewhere that wasn't on private property, they probably would have been able to get the original code breaker. But unfortunately, just when they're about to reach him, they get thrown in jail. And some random guy says he can help them. Yeah. He breaks him out of prison, and for somehow he's able to do everything that the code breaker was able to do. I don't know how. unless he's the real codebreaker. I don't know, but and they just happen to be in his jail cell. He breaks them out. They have to pay him money and all this palaver. But the rich place turns out to be where Rose and her sister were from, and they use slaves to run the whole business. So, and the only way, all the rich people, they were all involved in war, because that's the only way you can get that rich. So it just shows how corrupt that is. They go past the shields. It looks like a glitch on some guy's computer. So they get there, and it turns out your man, the codebreaker, has betrayed them, and he's being bought out essentially. So then they get it's quite cheesy. Like they have them at gun range, and they're about to kill them, but then they get saved at the last minute. And Finn gets to fight his old commander, and it looks like she kills him, but then he goes up in the elevator and just hits her. And that was it. But then in the other part of the ship, Ren joins Kylo Ren. Well, I think she gets captured, and they go into where Snoke is, and Snoke's pretty much bragging about how he brought them all together and how he's the all-powerful and no one can stand up to him, and how he understands Kylo Ren. And then he closes his eyes and it looks like he's having an orgasm. I can feel everything, every malice, every intent. And then Kylo Ren just kills him.
Yeah, you can feel everything, but you can't feel a moving lightsaber right beside you on his big throne, about to strike you.
Yeah, it just cuts him and he falls off. He gets sliced in half. And then the guards, they have Ren and Kylo Ren have to fight off the guards.
Which is a pretty good fight, I must admit.
Yeah. They put up a pretty good fight. And then for some reason Kylo Ren asks Ren to join the dark side. And she says no. And it turns out her parents were just two junkies who sold her for beer money.
Yeah.
So then they have a fight over Luke's lightsaber, and they break it in half. And then Ren gets thrown out the window from the force with that. I don't know what happens after that, how she survives.
I think she's on the Millennium Falcon with Chewie.
Yeah.
And the wee
Bird wings.
Yeah. Pogs, are they called? Pogs?
I think they're called Pogs, yeah.
They're like the new generation of Ewoks, basically.
Yeah. They were quite interesting, so they did. And then, but the film's not over yet, because at the end of the film, Kylo Ren, he's the new Supreme Overlord of the First Order. The rebels are hiding in this little cave. The First Order have walkers, a bunch of walkers walking towards the cave. All the rebels are hiding, and then some old guy walks up onto the snow with his binoculars. It's like, you're not afraid of getting shot. And some guy goes, salt.
Oh yeah.
So there's moments like that. It goes so random. And so the walkers are going one side, the ships are going the other side to confront them. And they find out the firepower of the walkers is too much, so they all retreat except for Finn. Finn flies right into the cannon, but just as he's about to do it, Rose saves him. Somehow, you think she's dead, the way she's lying, like it looks like she's died. She goes, I love you, and then she kisses him. Somehow Luke appears in the middle of the battlefield.
Yeah, he just
Save
walked.
the day.
Apparently, he must have walked through the back door. Apparently, I don't know.
And
At
then
that moment, we don't know how he got there. But eventually, in 5 minutes, we do find out.
yeah, Kylo Ren gets so angry. He goes, shoot down that piece of shit!
Yeah, the Millennium Falcon.
Which I thought was
Just-
quite funny.
It was his father's ship, basically. He's
Yeah.
just don't want anything to do with that.
So he gets all the guns and just shits your man, Luke. And at the end, Luke just brushes it off.
Which for is badass, I must admit.
And then
I'll admit. it's badass.
And Kylo Ren's like, fuck it, if all these guns can't come, I'll just go down and do it myself.
Yeah.
One guy with a lightsaber. So then they have this lightsaber battle and Luke's dodging him. But then eventually, Kylo Ren chops him in half, but it doesn't do anything. So he just then pokes him with his lightsaber. And it turns out he's an illusion.
Yeah.
So
The real Luke is still back on the island.
yeah, so
It's a cop out.
Ren actually failed in her mission to get Luke to the rebels. He stayed on the island. So he made a joke about taking on the whole rebel army at the start of the film, which he did in that end sequence. And so then for some reason Luke disappears. I think it's because he was using too much energy.
Probably the reason.
I'm guessing. And then there's also a scene whenever he's going to burn down the Tree of Knowledge, and then Yoda shows up and does it for him, and he's like, "Why did you do that? There was so much knowledge." And then Yoda's like, "Oh, they're just a bunch of old books."
What books they are?
And I like the way they actually used the puppet instead of the CGI.
You think it's kind of CGI due to the effects of the
maybe it's a
ghost
bit of
thing?
both. Could be a bit of both.
Well, kind of, yeah. But it actually is basically the puppet, which is nice for old fans.
Well, I like it because they do use too much CGI in these films, so it's nice to see something different, you know. So yeah, so for some reason Luke was annoyed about that. It was nice to see Yoda, and again, wasn't it like Yoda's an interesting character. It didn't explain why Yoda was there.
Well, he's a Force ghost. He can appear.
So he can appear and disappear whenever he wants?
Pretty much, yeah.
So why didn't he appear to help them fight Kylo Ren or
I
the
don't
First Order?
exactly sure how that works, but how he's able to summon lightning from the skies is a bit of an odd question, because I don't recall Jedi ghosts being able to do that before, so...
Maybe he's only able to appear beside Luke, because Luke knew him.
Probably, I don't know. I'm not an expert.
I thought you were the expert. Yeah, so Luke trains Kylo Ren. There's this funny scene whenever she's like trying to feel the Force, and Luke gets like this branch, and he touches her hand. He goes, "Can you feel the Force?" "I can feel it. I can feel it." "Oh, you're really good at this, aren't you?"
Yeah.
Ow! And then straight after, she's able to do it.
Yeah.
Again. And it turns out that for some reason Luke can't sense the Force.
I can't remember that.
She says, "Wait a minute, you can't sense it, can you?" And he goes, "I abandoned the Force a long time ago." And then there's a lot of interesting creatures on Act 2. There was the cow thing you mentioned where he got the milk from. There was also these wee bird things, which were quite interesting. What would you say they replaced?
Well, I'm not saying they're replacing them, but I think they're kind of like this generation's Ewoks, kind of, basically.
Yeah.
Everybody loves them.
And there was an awkward scene whenever Chewbacca was eating one of them, and they were all just looking at him, as if they wanted a piece too of their own kind, which was a bit odd.
And they were all over the ship, basically, in the final battle. Chewie's like, "Get off! Get off like a
Well,
trace."
I think he adopted them, didn't he? Like he wanted to bring them back with him. No.
I thought they just stowed away in the ship.
I don't know. Maybe it was a bit of both. And then there was these caretakers who cleaned the houses for some reason. I don't know what that was about.
Yeah, just inhabitants of the islands, really.
Yeah. And
What do you think was the funniest part of the film?
funniest part of the film, there was a few funny bits. I found it funny how the middle-aged girl with the purple hair was so into Poe. It was like there was two moments where you could tell she was like checking him out, and then at the end of the film, she says to Princess Leia, and she goes, "I like him."
Okay.
It's like, you know, he's young enough to be your bloody son.
Okay. I thought the funniest part was at the beginning when suppose where the last film left off at, where Rey's giving Luke the lightsaber and he just throws off the side of the cliff. It pretty much sums up like how much Mark Hamill does not give a shit anymore.
Yeah,
Poor guy.
it's changed since he was involved in Star Wars. But that's why they killed him off, because he didn't want to be in it anymore. And there's a few funny moments, like there was what do you call him? 3PO.
Yeah.
He made a few cameos, and then there was R2D2 with Luke showing Princess Leia.
Yeah, it's a lovely homage to the first film.
Yeah. Then there was Rose, who was like Finn's biggest fan for some reason.
Oh, you saved the universe. Are you leaving? I can't let you leave. She did act a bit crazy at the start.
Well, I think she was intended to be crazy. Like she was one of the crazy fans, sort of like any real person obsessed with any fan fiction. What are your final thoughts on the film?
I liked it. I know it may not be the perfect Star Wars film that everybody wants, but I'm a sucker for films that are good or bad or meh. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I liked it better than the first film in this trilogy. The first film was okay, but this one I think set the bar higher. Like it was more personal. I thought like it was more to do with the people than the actual battles. Though there was battles too. So I thought it had a good mix. It was a wee bit maybe it went a wee bit too fast in places, like when they went to the rich island and.
Yeah, a lot of people said that reminds them too much of the prequels, which no one talks about the prequels.
Yeah, but maybe they rushed that a bit too much. But I thought it was good. What I liked about it was it wasn't as predictable as the first one in the trilogy. Like it wasn't your typical good guy saves the day. Like the good guys did lose in this one. Like Kylo Ren killed off the main villain and he became the main villain, and then he was in the position of power, picking off a lot of the resistance. And it ended up, even though they ended on a nice note, they were worse off, the rebels, than what they were at the start of the film. So I'm the type of guy that likes a sort of darker ending to films, but maybe that's just me.
Then you love Empire.
Yeah. But I didn't watch the old Star Wars films. So overall, Mark.
You must.
Well, my dad didn't like them, so we didn't watch them. He didn't bring them into the house. Overall, Mark, what would you give this film out of 5?
Out of 5, I'll just give it a decent. Yeah, hell, I'll give it a decent 4 out of 5. I'll be me.
I think I'll also give it a 4 out of 5. I'll take 1 point off 5 out of 5 because it didn't blow me away. It was great, you know, it was great in a lot of places, but it didn't make me go, oh wow, this is the best film ever. But I will say that it was one of the better films I've seen this year. So it is. And if you're a fan of Star Wars, well, unless you're obsessed with the canon, like if you don't care about the lore of Star Wars, if you just want to see a good film, this is a great film to watch. For all the family, though kids get freaked out by the milk, the cow thing, cow alien creature. But aside from that, it was great. And yeah, that's all I can say about it. Let us know in the comments below what did you guys think of this film, and what is your favourite Star Wars film, or talk about any of the characters or anything that we forgot to mention. And that is all. So goodbye.
Alright, take care. May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.
That's Mr. Spock you're doing there. Not.
Oh, well, they're all the same to me. Anyway.
No, they're not.
Have a flame war against me in the comments because I just said that.